Well, greetings friends, and a very warm welcome to my channel. Recently, my clothes dryer broke down. It wouldn't start, the motor wouldn't start, couldn't dry clothes. And my dryer happens to be a 29-inch wide dryer. It's called a Whirlpool super capacity, heavy duty 6-cycle dryer. The 6-cycle is part of what I want to talk about today, because the 6-cycle does require a timer that's different than many of the 27-inch models, which have fewer cycles generally. And I didn't see any videos on YouTube covering my model, so that's why I thought I'd go ahead and do a video today describing the process I went through and what I discovered, and maybe share with you something about this particular model that if you have this model, you might want to be aware of. I did discover that the timer switch itself was the main culprit. The contacts inside the timer switch were pretty well charred. I decided to just go ahead and replace the switch. It wasn't that much money. Find a good used one online. I found one that had really good contacts inside. So I just threw the new one in, or the replacement in, and I set this other one aside. That I'll clean it up later and maybe save it for a rainy day, so to speak. But I discovered that it's not just the contacts in the timer that's a problem. There can be a problem. I discovered that we really need to take a look at the motor switch. Now, maybe you don't have time when your dryer breaks down to look at your motor switch, because you basically have to remove the drum to do so. But that's a little different operation, takes a little more time. But I would suggest at some point, if you have had a failure or a problem with your timer switch and it's getting old, I would suggest it's also time to take a good hard look at the motor switch on the motor. This is a motor switch for mine. It happens to be color coded, and it's a little different than most of the ones I saw. You can see this is just kind of a little rectangular box with contacts on each side. That's the way it sits on the motor. It sits like that, and little push buttons on the bottom. But mine, this is my old one. I just simply replaced it and replaced the timer. So that got my dryer going in good shape. But I realized when I was into the motor, since I had the drum out, it was also the perfect time to go ahead and replace the belt tracking pulley, the tension pulley, as well as the two pulleys that the drum roll on. So I did that. I would recommend that you do that too if you get to this point at some point in the future with your dryer. But be sure that you pay attention to whether your dryer is either a 27-inch wide dryer or a 29-inch wide dryer. They both have a belt specific to their size. The drum is bigger in the 29, so it definitely needs a longer belt. So pay attention to that. But those kits are really inexpensive, like under $30 for the whole kit. And that'll basically put your dryer back to where it would be a good serviceable unit for a number of years yet to come. If you do that, get into your dryer, do these things, obviously you're going to be cleaning some passages too, so be sure it's all clean. And if you haven't cleaned your duct system, that's a good time to do that also. But I want to show you something important about the timer switch itself, and that is that as I described, my model is a 29-inch heavy-duty 6-cycle. This is the timer that came out of mine. Take a look here, and you'll see that at the top of the description on this, it says model M60G. The problem with that model number is that's basically the same for all these timers, no matter what machine they're made for. It's just that the basic overall construction of the timer itself, the outside configuration, is quite similar. But inside, it can be vastly different. And that is found by the actual part number of this timer. The part number for this timer for my machine, and perhaps yours if it's this heavy-duty 6-cycle 29-inch, is this 3392949A. That's a part number. Here's the difference. Here's a timer that is for probably a 27-inch dryer, and you can see that it is called out as a model M460G also. But if you notice at the bottom, look at the part number 3976576. Totally different. They're totally different inside. I could show you that, but I think you get the gist. Even though they look quite similar on the outside, I'll set that one there. You can see that. And then you can see this one. These two, if you didn't know better, they'd look almost identical on the outside. But they are definitely different inside. So I wanted to share that with you today to help you if you've had a dryer fail on you, something's happened to it. I'm going to go ahead and show you now also, just show you my dryer back plate so you can see what it is, because you don't see these often on YouTube as something that they're talking about. This is the back of mine. You can see it's quite different. You have push buttons for the temperature selector, and you see the timer has a whole lot going on around it. And that's where you get this number of 6 different cycles. So perhaps yours is like this, and if it is, maybe this video will do you some good. I hope so. Share this video with others if you know a friend that may have a problem with a dryer like this, and be sure to mention it to them, because this can be helpful. Certainly my dryer now is good to go for a number of years with all those unique parts complete and repaired and replaced. And so anyway, please be aware of the difference in these timers. Don't let that part number at the top fool you. That M460G is not the number you're looking for. When you're looking for a timer for your dryer, be sure you're looking at the number at the bottom on the left side. Not the model number, but the part number itself. And keep in mind that if your switch is having a problem with contacts getting dirty or even pitting up, be sure to know that it may well be that your motor switch is also on its way to being needed to be serviced or replaced. So hope this video can be helpful to someone out there. Thank you for your visit, and I just ask you to do one thing, the one thing we all need to do constantly, and that is whatever you do, if you decide to work on a machine yourself, please do so in a safe manner. There's lots of videos describing how to troubleshoot these machines in a safe manner. There's books that help that also. And so I just ask that you will stay safe.